Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome back to Love and Light TV. I'm excited because I get to do another episode of One-on-One with Mike. And I'm excited even more because I have a very wonderful, special guest. How you doing, Dawon?
I'm okay.
Good to see you. All right. So you all may know him from the YouTube reality show, Chasing Atlanta. And he is currently featured on this season of GStatusATLHustle. Right? So I think this is so dope because Dawon reached out to me to have a sit down, to have a conversation. Because although you are not one of the main cast members, you are featured on GStatusATLHustle, and your storyline is pretty powerful.
Yeah.
Right? Okay, so before we get into the interview, let's talk a little bit about our history. As you all know, back in the day, I used to be on YouTube with someone who we all love, Mr. Ty Couture, and God rest his soul. And we had an opportunity to start doing a review on a show, a smaller show at that time, called Chasing Atlanta. And we became pretty familiar with all of the cast. We became friends pretty much with all of the cast. And we had an opportunity to go to the reunion. At the reunion, I'm not sure exactly what happened, but I do know that there was some little misunderstanding, scuffle, that I tried to jump my big ass in, just out of order as hell. Remember when Ty was like, sit down, let's go! But I appreciate it to this day looking back on it. But then after that, we had an opportunity for you and your partner at the time to come over and to do an interview, and we were able to talk to you all. We made a friendship, and
that interview actually had the highest ratings out of all the interviews you did with the Rivers on Chasing Atlanta.
It did. Yeah. It did, and it was so fun because we had an opportunity to actually talk to you all. I was actually looking at the boomerang because I have a boomerang in my phone right now from that particular episode when we were all sitting there. Laughing and talking and just getting an understanding. And you all know me, I love to get understandings about things. I like to make sure that before I react, not that I've always done this correctly, I like to make sure that I understand a thing before I react. When Ty and I broke up, I wanted someone to reach out to me and say, hey, yo, like, let's do an interview. Let me get your side of the story. And at that particular time, because of his level of popularity, no one did.
Absolutely.
And I'm okay with that, now. But when you reached out to me, I was like, you know what? I want to share my platform the way that I wish someone would have shared their platform with me back in that time to just to kind of get my story. So that's our history, and that's how we connected. And you look amazing today.
Thank you.
All right, so this is your opportunity. Share your story. I'll ask questions because I always want to be balanced. And you already know how I feel about all parties involved in this conversation. And so, my loyalty runs deep with everybody. So
absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, I reached out to you because, like you had said, I was actually a feature, not only on G Status, but I was also a feature on Chasing Atlanta.
Right.
So when I got with Dawon, my life.
Now, who is Dawon?
Dawon was my partner.
Okay.
My love.
How long?
We was together for 3.5 years.
Do you still love him?
Till this day.
Yeah, I understand that.
I think I will always love Dawon. In life, I truly believe that, you get one soulmate.
Okay.
One. You can move on. You can get married, and but I just feel like in life it's only one soulmate.
Okay.
We accomplished a lot together.
Y'all had.
We definitely accomplished a lot together. But when I got with Dawon 3.5 years ago, I'll never forget that my first time really like, having a one-on-one with him. He had invited me to the first season of the Chasing Atlanta reunion.
Ah, okay. Was he on that first season?
Yeah, he was on the first season.
Okay.
He's the OG.
I didn't know that.
Atlanta, yeah.
I think I did, but yeah, I forgot. Okay.
Yeah. He invited me to the first reunion of Chasing Atlanta. I was excited, I didn't know too much about him, but I wanted to come out and support him.
Right.
And he invited me there while his ex was there.
Ah.
Bro.
That sounds like a Michael Herman.
Yeah, caught me by surprise.
Wow.
Caught me by surprise.
But they were not together anymore, right?
Yeah.
No, they were still together.
Yeah, they were still together.
Oh,
I mean,
okay. That is a Michael Hurd situation.
Yeah, I don't know. Like, if they, I don't know if they was like together because like after that, you know, we still talk, but like every other week he was leaving me for this man. So it's like I didn't really know what to do.
Like breaking up with you, stop talking to you.
Not really breaking up because we wasn't together when we first was talking.
Right.
But he'll randomly text me saying, "Oh, I don't think this gonna work."
Okay.
So I'm like, okay. And then I see him on Instagram with the dude or whatever. So I'm like, so he just kept leaving me for the dude.
Right.
But nonetheless, our upbringing is so similar.
Okay.
Yeah, our upbringing is so similar. So when I met Dawon, it just reminded me of someone that I knew that I can like interact with, someone that I can like really have a good time with. We're both from Florida.
Right.
You know, we're both from a single parent home. You know, his mom dealt with her drugs. You know, God bless the dead. My father dealt with his. You know, so we had a upbringing that just was so powerful. Right. And so it always kept me going back to him whenever he's, you know, he would text me 2 weeks later.
After he broke up with you.
He broke up with me 2 weeks later. So, you know, after that, you know, things got really official. I was able to move past that because I know that when we got together, he was in this dark space. He was very in a dark space. And my heart just wouldn't let me, you know, walk away from him. Friend or not, you know, associate or not, lover or not, my heart wouldn't let me walk away from him. So moving forward,
let me say this. I want to make sure I make this abundantly clear. I love Dawon. Dawon, he's a good guy. Me and him are cool. I have no beefs with anybody. Okay, go ahead.
Yeah. So season 2, Chasing Atlanta.
Right.
Season 2, Chasing Atlanta. I think when Chasing Atlanta first started with season 2, that's when we really became official. Right. We was actually living together during that season. No one knew.
Okay.
Yeah, no one knew about Dawon, us living together during that season. So, unfortunately, like I said, you know, I just wanted to reach out to tell my side of the story, not to bash him, not to, because he's a great man.
He's an amazing guy.
He's a great man, but in life we all come with our demons.
Challenges, yeah, we all do, right?
And one of Dawon's biggest demons is that he's a drinker. He likes to drink. I drink too. Right. I'm not gonna sit here and say that
I smoke.
Yeah, I smoke, but I know how to drink. Right. But Dawon he's a drinker, and it took him a while to admit it that he had a problem. But he's a drinker, and
do you feel like he has admitted it now? Like where he is in his life, do you feel like he has come to grips with what you have seen in him?
I think that he know that he's I don't want to say alcoholic.
That he struggles with.
Yeah, he struggles with drinking.
Right.
But I don't think he's ready to admit that.
Okay.
Because when you know you want to do what you can to go get the help, you know, when you see that you're hurting yourself and everyone around you, and maybe even opportunities, you know, let me figure out what exactly is going on with me. So he knows. I just don't think he's ready to put it down yet. Okay. And that's okay. I think it's okay.
Does he know how you feel about him drinking? Is he aware of that?
Absolutely.
Okay. So nothing you're saying is going to catch him off guard. How you feel?
No, absolutely. Right. We was together for 3.5 years. I'm not a victim. You know. Right. I'm not a victim.
Good.
I'm not a victim. Lord knows I'm not.
Right.
But I think the only thing that I ever asked from Dawon, he wouldn't give me.
Which was what?
To, you know, stop drinking.
Do you think that would be an easy task?
No, I don't think it'll be an easy task. But when you're with a partner, you know, when people get together, you know, unfortunately about us living our relationship in a public eye,
which is always uncomfortable.
Very, especially when I'm not used to it. I'm not from that type of lifestyle. I'm really not. That's why.
But you're adjusting.
Yeah, I'm trying. Lord knows I'm not.
Right.
But when you, I don't know. I just don't think he was actually ready to just stop.
Right.
I asked him. We was together for 3.5 years. 3.5 years. 3. It was the longest relationship I ever had.
Right.
You know, I know how to have my fun. And it was the longest relationship that he ever had. You know, he met my mom for the first time. I met his mom for the first time. my first niece, his first niece, so many memories.
Right.
But when you're in a relationship and your life is in a public eye, unfortunately, when someone see your life or your relationship for 30 minutes on a Sunday night on a YouTube channel, they feel like they can tell you about who you are as a person.
You are preaching to the choir.
And I go so hard for him because what people don't know is that I asked Dawon, when my father died, my father had died 2 years ago. I was in Tallahassee. I was in Tallahassee with Dawon and his friends. His friend was graduating.
Right.
My father had passed, and I sat in the car 14 hours, boohoo cried. No one came to check up on me. No one did anything. Like, it was like really, really sad. My friends was mad because I wasn't home.
Right.
Long story short, I knew that I wasn't around my friends, so I still gathered myself to go out that night. Dawon beat me up. The same night my dad died.
Okay. So now that's a loaded statement. Dawon beat you up. Now, I cannot imagine that he just beat you up for no reason.
Well,
something had to happen between you crying, with your dad, deciding to go out, and then you all get into a fight. What actually happened?
We had a great night, actually. Wait a
minute, Dawon beat you up.
Yeah.
Were you still intoxicated at the time? Oh, okay. So that's why. Okay.
I was intoxicated. I was emotional. My father died. I was hurt. I was uncomfortable. But I went up to the club with him and his friends, and unfortunately, I jumped the bar. I just found out my dad died.
Right.
So with you being my partner, you know that I'm going through a lot. You know that I'm hurting. You know that I'm not around my family. I'm not around my friends. This is your people's. So I went to the bar because I didn't want to, make the situation uncomfortable. I wasn't expecting for his friends to have sympathy. They didn't know me. It was my first time meeting them.
Right.
But by me being with, someone who don't really know how to control their drinking, he decided to get...
So you were drinking and he was drinking?
Yeah, he decided to get a little bit more intoxicated than me.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do you feel like maybe that was his way of dealing with the stress of what you were going through as well?
Maybe so. But I think if the shoe was on the other foot, which it has been, if the shoe was on the other foot, I would have never handled it the way that he handled it.
So you were just expecting a different
I was just expecting
method of operation.
I'm not saying, let's not have no drinks because we did.
Right.
But he got a little bit more intoxicated than me. It was really sad. Long story short, I asked the way that he was driving. I said, my father just passed. Right now, I'm scared. I'm drunk. I don't really don't want you to drive.
Right.
When you're drunk, you're not in your right state of mind. He lashed out, and we got into a physical altercation at the hotel room that night. And I think that was.
Do you think it was based on the fact that you didn't want him to drive the way he was driving, or do you think it was based on other things? Because that would be a very low-level reason to get into a physical altercation because you were concerned about the way he was driving and drinking.
See, I don't want to get too because like I said, I don't want to feel like I'm bashing Dawon.
But you're going to have to tell the story because it's not going to sound.
Dawon is angry drunk.
Okay.
He's an angry drunk. Like, when he gets drunk, he's very careless. He's very, he say what he want to say. He's going to do what he want to do. So by him being drunk, maybe I did approach the situation with how he was driving the wrong way.
Okay.
But right now, I'm hurt.
Right. You're already dealing with your own things.
Dealing with what I got.
So do you feel like he should have been a little bit more sensitive to that?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely. Lord knows. Absolutely. Okay. That was the first time that
that you all had an experience like that.
Yeah, that was the first time I realized that his drinking was a problem.
How long were you all together before that happened?
My dad died 2 years ago. Probably a year.
Okay, so there were no other signs before then.
No, it was other signs. I knew he was, like I said, at the Chase Atlanta reunion, I bought the man flowers. Season 1, I bought the man flowers. Right. And I don't know if y'all seen Season 1 reunion, but it's my first time really, I'm in the audience as a friend, as a date, and you out there showing out. And I found out that he was drunk at the reunion, and I just thought it just came with so much drama and pain. So I was like, okay, I can see past that. But when he starts drinking, he does a lot of different things. So I noticed that he liked to drink. Right. I noticed that he don't handle his drinks very well. Right. But I think it reached home when my father passed.
Right. So it just became like that real moment.
Yeah,
So from the first time that you noticed that he was struggling with drinking, and you knew that probably would not be a good mix for you two, why did you stay?
Growing up, I didn't have no father, and with I had a, my mom, but the words "I love you" I never heard. I never heard I love you from my mom. I never heard I love you from my father.
Right.
So life, I just, when I met Dawon, I just knew that it was, past his drinking, because like I said, I'm not a victim. Past his drinking, I knew that his heart was with me.
His heart is with you. Only because we're friends. I know his heart is with you. But that's not enough to build a relationship on.
Well, and then I knew his heart was with me. I knew his heart was with me, but I also figured, like when we first got together, I had just moved out here, so I was staying with a friend. He always had his own, but he had a roommate. And, when you're in a relationship and if it's toxic, two people that can't, grow together or can't, build together, it's not healthy.
Right.
But together, we are amazing. We moved, we had our first apartment, I'll never forget. We both was happy. He woke up early that morning. Hey, let's go. We called off of work, got our U-Haul. We moved in with a bed on the floor.
Right.
A bed on the floor. We didn't care. We was happy that we was together.
Right.
I just moved up here. He was out of his wherever he was staying at, so we just moved together with the bed on the floor.
How long into the relationship did that take?
Maybe 5 months. Well, in our lifestyle, we know how to get relationships really fast. And I think we got a relationship. We got a relationship really fast because we was together every day.
Right.
And then it was fun for me when he was leaving me at first, because I was like, I'm not in love with you. So what is the game that we was playing? It was fun for me at first, but when he kept coming back, I was like, okay, we either gonna figure this out or we're not. So we end up.
And let me say this, and you are definitely an alpha male. I've known you for a couple of years. You're definitely alpha male. And sometimes we get intrigued by those games.
Yeah.
We're like, oh, okay, what? So that kind of catches us.
Yeah, I like, it was fun for me.
Right.
It was fun. At first, it was fun.
Right.
But, when we had moved in together, a month later, he bought we had our first daughter.
The little puppy,
dog, our daughter. So we was growing, Mike. We was like really growing. Like we was growing through all that. We was growing. But our life was so public that I don't, not to bash anybody and what they do.
Right.
It was unfortunate that Chase in Atlanta didn't give Dawon the opportunity to show, exactly what he was doing. Season 2, we was together since day one, and you would think that we wasn't,
Because it seemed like I remember doing the reviews on the show, so it seemed like it was a lot going on between you two even then.
Yeah, and it was none of that.
Wow.
It was none of that. It was more so, right after that, you got to keep in mind, right after that, Chasing Atlanta Season 1, when he was leaving me every other week for this dude, we were still conversing. They started immediately filming Season 2. So once he realized the dude wasn't for him, or whatever the situation may be, we got immediately together. After that, they started immediately filming.
I have a question.
Yeah.
Why did you accept him? Once he found out that the dude wasn't right for him, why did you accept him back? When he kept playing that game of going back and forth, what was it that made you say, okay, I'm going to...
Well, because when I first moved here, DMs was on swole. So many bodies in my DM.
Right.
So it was like...
I know.
Yeah, so it was like cool at first. But when we did hang out, it was more so that I didn't even want to have sex. I just wanted to be around him.
You just wanted to be around him.
Yeah, like he's my.
So there was more of a mental and spiritual connection.
Yeah, I connected with him very well.
Right.
And living in Atlanta, I had a few situations where I didn't think that it was best to even be in a relationship in Atlanta. I don't it took me a while to believe that Atlanta can have a successful relationship. They're disrespectful. But when I did connect with him, it was on a mental level. It was on a spiritual level. I'm all about energy.
Right, me too.
I'm all about energy, and his energy was amazing. And like I told you, we come from the same upcoming. So when he did decide that, he didn't want that him and the guy wasn't working, it was easy for me to
just accept him.
Just accept him, because I knew that while he was doing that, I was still doing me.
Right. So were you feel like you were waiting on him in any type of way?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely.
And let me say this. I understand you're preaching to the choir. That's one of the reasons why I was really open to doing this, this episode with you, because I know what it's like. And I tell people this, I say it again, Ty and I never got a fair chance because of the simple fact that when you live in the public eye, you let millions of opinions now into your relationship, and people do only judge from the 30 to 45 minutes that they see on screen. They don't know anything else. They don't know the background story. They don't know what y'all doing at home. And so it's easy for people to draw a conclusion, especially if they're lonely and don't have no one themselves. They kind of take your relationship on as their relationship.
Absolutely.
So I get that.
Yeah, so it was, but see, the thing about Dawon that I also had a problem with, it was easy for, as much as I'm not saying, he's definitely not a clout chaser because he's talented.
Right,
he's talented. He's an actor. He's definitely know how to cook. I gained a lot of weight dealing with him. So, his talents is amazing. But I think that the fame, he wanted it so bad.
Do you think he still wants it?
Absolutely. That's why we're not together.
And let me say this: there's nothing wrong with wanting fame.
No. There's nothing wrong with wanting fame. But I'm the type of person where I come from like I said, I come from an upcoming where it was just my mom. I come from an upcoming where I was content with what I had, which is what I didn't have. I come from an upcoming of being a man and getting out here grinding, never depend on anybody for nothing, never ask nobody for nothing. So when I get myself in these situations and they don't bring me a paycheck, and when it's not paying my bills or when it's not beneficial, it's easy for me to pull.
And it's causing you stress.
And it's causing me stress because I want to support him. I wanted to support him, and one thing I love about GStat is that they showed his talents.
Yeah.
Shout out.
And we're looking forward to seeing
definitely. They definitely, his...
What's the guy's producer's name? Josh? Josh. Shout out to Josh. I never met him. I know he worked with Ty, but I never met him.
When Dawon came to me, I made Dawon quit chasing Atlanta. I made him.
Wow.
Yeah, I made him quit chasing.
I never knew that.
Yeah, I made Dawon because we was filming. We was actually going to go to season 3. He had a party bus for his birthday, so that was our first segment on the show. Now, unfortunately, the party bus was full of liquor, no chaser. And it went left very fast. Wow. And again, Dawon being drunk, he literally pushed me down. Oh, wow. He pushed, him and my best friend got into an altercation that night. And he pushed me down the stairs. I was drunk.
Are we talking about Gardini?
No. My best friend, Nard.
Okay.
Gardini was there though. Gardini was there. I actually woke up at Gardini house.
Hey, Gardini.
Yeah, hey, friend. I actually woke up at Gardini house and rushed home because I thought I was in trouble. I didn't know what happened. But he pushed me down the stairs on his birthday, chasing Atlanta scene, all that. So I asked him, I said, is this really what we're going to show? Because from my understanding, they wanted his storyline on season 3 for him to go to rehab. Yeah. And I told him, I said, as much as you want this, it's not right now. Babe, you're battling with something. You know that when we first moved, we didn't have much. We was growing. So is this really the right time to be in the public eye? So when I said I made him quit, I wouldn't say it like that. But I made him
encouraged him.
I encouraged him. Right now, it's not the best time to have our face on anybody's show when we're grinding, we're hustling, we're trying to maintain. And you have a problem, and this is not the right time. First episode, we're already fighting.
That's
not. We had a great day that day. We spent money getting a party bus, all of our friends. It was amazing, but unfortunately, they only captured what they captured.
And then again, let us keep in mind and let us be honest when it comes dealing with any type of reality show. Reality shows only work when there is drama. The bigger the drama, the messier the drama, the higher the ratings.
Absolutely.
So when you sign up for a reality show, you have to know what you're walking into. You're walking into the fact that, I'm going to have to deal with some level of drama that is probably going to bring a lot of emotional and mental anguish. And now I'm going to have to figure out how to navigate through that. So,
Yeah. For the first time in my life, I'm in love.
Yeah. You're definitely in love.
Yeah, I'm 30 years old, and I done had some situations, I done had some relationships. But for the first time in my life, I am in love.
So, do you think if Dawon would go and get help for his drinking, how do you feel like your future relationship would be with him?
My future, I think it would just be a start. And I say that because I always asked him, you know, Dawon promised me that, you know, he was going to go to therapy. The one time that he did go to therapy, of course, it was recorded, so I didn't feel like it was real.
Right.
You know, he promised me that he was going to go to therapy. Right. And he's a great guy, amazing wife, amazing lover.
Before we get into this, I love that amazing wife.
Yeah, he's definitely my wife.
I remember when we had that conversation a couple years ago. I love that.
That was my girl.
And I'll always be like, that is so cute that you would call him your wife. So now, okay, so I'm listening to you. I'm listening to, you know, what you feel your perception is of Dawon and what you have experienced. What do you feel that you contributed up until that point? What do you feel like you contributed to the struggle or the challenges of your relationship at that time? You personally, nothing dealing with him, just you.
Like the things that I did?
Yeah.
I stepped out.
Okay.
I stepped out and I stepped out.
Now, was this, now I'm talking about while you're still in this Chasing Atlanta season, because we're going to move up.
Oh, no, season two.
Okay.
Yeah, season 2, it was all about me and Dawon.
Okay.
Yeah, season two, it was all about
But do you feel that you personally contributed to your challenges at that particular time? Do you feel like maybe you stressed him out and that's why he needed to drink? Or do you feel like you were nagging him too much? I'm not saying you were, but I'm just saying.
Dawon would tell, and I know this. I know this. Dawon would tell anybody till this day that I met him in a dark space, and you know, God bless the dead, but Dawon was suicidal. Dawon was not saying he tried to commit suicide.
Right.
It was
that energy.
Yeah, when you first meet someone,
right?
Like when you first meet someone, you're getting to know them. It's that honeymoon stage. But when I talked to him, it was very depressing. So that was one of the main reasons why I kept holding on to him, because I wanted him to know his worth. So
you know what? It's so funny. I remember we talked a while ago, and I want to say this. This is not the first time you have shared this story with me.
Yeah.
Me and you have talked about this, but I also told you, I said, he reminds me so much of Ty. And we have this Superman complex where we feel like we have to save people that we love, which many times gets us in a whole lot of trouble as well.
Not saying that I saved him, because we definitely saved each other, but what I will say is that I made Dawon see the best in life. I made Dawon want better. I made Dawon think better.
You that type of man.
I made Dawon feel better, and I know that.
I love it.
I know that for a fact.
I love it.
And you know, I stepped out.
So now we're moving up to now where he's done with Chasing Atlanta. You all went through what you went through on the party bus. Now you're moving up to where your storyline begins for GStatusATLHustle. Is that correct?
Well, not my storyline.
Well, his storyline.
Not even.
Someone else is on the show.
That's
okay.
Storyline.
What happened between you and Dawon that led to you stepping out?
Okay. Again, the one thing that I ever asked Dawon to do, he wouldn't do. Now, by me being in love, I wasn't ready to leave. I wasn't ready to go. But I knew that I was unhappy in so many different ways. So by me, you know, I believe in marriage, even though we're not married yet. I believe it to death. To death do us apart.
Right.
And like I said, in life you find a soulmate. Dawon's my soulmate. So that's kind of like to death do me apart.
Right.
So I dealt with every single thing that happened, and a lot of the times when Dawon gets drunk, I will go out and you know, I'm drinking, and
so that's how you handle the stress. So you handle the stress of him drinking by going to drink.
I handle the stress by him drinking, by me going out. You know, like I said, I drank.
Going out and doing what?
Having a great time.
And what does that great time include?
You know, to be honest with you, it only really, because I actually stopped drinking. Okay. Yeah, I actually had stopped drinking when me and Dawon got like in a really like together. Like I would ask my friends like not to, you know, come over with drinks and stuff like that. It got to a point where I felt like I was enabling him. And unfortunately, I always thought, you know, by us being in a public eye, whoever I, you know, did sleep with, they definitely knew.
Right.
They
knew
who Dawon was. They knew who Dawon was. They knew who D&D was. They knew us. They knew us. I not saying,
but that attracts people. You do realize that.
I do now.
Yeah. So whenever you're public in your relationship, all that does is make people really want to be with you. And then you're a masculine guy. You're tall. You're chocolate. You're good looking. You got a beard. You know what I'm saying? And yeah, they're gonna be after you no matter what.
And I realize that now. And you know, like I said, I'm nobody's victim.
Mm-hmm.
I'm nobody's victim. But I think the things that we've been through in our relationship, you know, from my father passing, you know, Dawon tried to kill me on my 29th birthday, you know.
Now you got to qualify that. Dawon tried to kill you.
Yeah.
No, okay. Was Dawon drunk?
Yes.
Okay, he was drunk.
Yeah.
Okay, and let me say this because, you know, I work as a counselor. So, like, for me to hear, okay, Dawon tried to kill me, what does that mean? Like, did he do something that, like, put your life in danger?
Well, I was drunk. We had just got our first car together.
Mm-hmm.
And it was my birthday. I had my friends in the back seat. You know, we had bought the VIP section.
Mm-hmm.
We was drinking at the club compound.
Mm-hmm.
And on our way home, you know, me and Dawon got into an altercation.
An argument.
Argument.
Who starts the arguments with y'all?
You know, I think I start them, but I feel like I start them at the wrong time. Because when you try to have not an argument, when you try to have a conversation with somebody who's not in the right state of mind,
right,
it goes left
all the time.
And I didn't realize that I would literally try to tell him about himself when he's under the influence.
So you would start the argument by trying to have a conversation at the wrong time.
Look what you're doing. Look how you're acting.
But do you see how toxic that is for someone who is already in a state of trauma?
Yeah.
So, like, if you come to him, and this is just for future, because y'all gonna definitely get back together, and I'll be at the wedding. But like, if somebody is in a state of trauma, right? Whether that is drinking, depression, anger, whatever, that's the wrong time to try to give them advice or tell them what they need to do, because what that does, and I've been guilty of this shit too, it triggers their insecurity.
Well, I'm not a doctor or a counselor. I was his lover.
Right.
So that's just how I handle
Right, I understand.
That's just how I handle our situations, but you're absolutely right.
Right.
You're absolutely right. You're absolutely right.
So y'all were in the car.
We was in the car on our way home. I said something, and I was driving, and he literally takes the steering wheel and goes like that.
That sounds so familiar.
Yeah, he literally.
I'm not talking about time, but I've gone through that situation before where someone done that
he
to me.
literally takes the steering wheel and goes like that, and I was like, wow. This is crazy. But what I am saying is, not a lot of the times, every time that I did go seek outside of my relationship, I was wrong.
Right.
I was wrong, and Lord knows that I was wrong.
Let's take a pause right there, because I think that's a really, really good spot, because a lot of people need to understand and recognize and realize that when you step out without your partner's permission, everybody knows I'm polyamorous, so I always make sure I have permission to make sure my shit is right. But that's now. That's not before, but I do 100% agree with you. Whenever couples, and I know my exes are going to watch this and be like, you wouldn't say that then, but whenever couples go through something, it's always both people. And when you don't know what each other's triggers are, or you're not sensitive to those triggers, then we do put ourselves in situations where a lot of challenging or negative things can happen. Absolutely. So he was drinking one night, y'all got into it, and then what happened that led to this storyline for this new reality show?
This was the night that, I think it was shortly. It was another. I think. But for me, every time that we did get into a serious altercation, it was really close to like home.
Right.
For me.
It affected you.
Yeah, it affected me mentally. Like when I told you, like with my mom and my dad.
Right.
We never said the words. My mom never told me she loved me. My dad never told me she loved me. So long story short, my mom, after my father passed, my mom reached out and she wanted to come up here for her birthday. We had a great time.
Right.
And with Dawon being my lover, we pillow talk. So I took my mom out that night, and Dawon got really intoxicated again, passed out in the middle.
With your mom there?
With my mom there. Yeah, with my mom there.
Okay.
Embarrassing.
Well, I mean, but he's just being his true self. That's what he is.
Having a good time.
Or what he was doing, not who he is.
we pillow talk about, you know, my mom not loving me in the relationship that I had with my mom. Long story short, Dawon told my aunt that I didn't love my mom.
Whoa, okay. So stuff that you shared during pillow talk.
Yeah. So after that, I kind of like really, you know, after my father died.
But did he say this while he was drunk, or did he say this while he was sober?
He said this when Dawon's sober, he's amazing.
I think he's amazing all the time.
Yeah, he's you know.
But I will say this: I have already saw the first season of the show. I did not like that outfit in your confessional. You know, you my dog. I love you, but that was a mess.
But
all right, go ahead.
After that, I think I had like completely shut down. Because
when he did that, you felt betrayed, or
I felt betrayed, and I felt like nothing was really going to change. Because if you remember, I told you when we first got together, he was in this dark space.
Mm-hmm.
He admitted that I was good to him. So it's like, when are you going to be good to me? You know, I think.
What does that mean though? When is he going to be good to you?
When are you going to actually admit? When are you actually going to admit that you're hurting me by your drinking? Because I told you, and he would tell you, I have asked Dawon numerous times, babe, go get some help. Calm down with your drinking. You're hurting me. You know, his family, his mom, you know, he said it before. His mom was on drugs. I've met his family. They definitely can drink. So he knows the effect.
It just comes from
he knows the effect that it does. Mm-hmm. I just don't think he was ready. But long story short, because I wasn't ready to go, and because I'm so in love.
Because you chose to stay.
Absolutely. I'm no victim. No victim. Right. But I went about things with just going out and.
Were y'all broke up at this time? Were y'all together? Like, what was the scenario between you two?
We wasn't broken up because we've been living together for so long.
Right.
And I never left. He never left.
Right.
But we were in a
complicated place?
Yes, we was in a complicated space.
Right.
So I went out and I ended up meeting Sherrod. Mm-hmm. I ended up meeting up with Sherrod.
Right.
Now Sherrod's on Twitter busting it open. You know, I'm a man. I see him. You know, he's on Twitter busting it open.
And that's no judgment because I be on Twitter busting it open too.
You do.
Right. Yes, I do.
But, you know, what I am saying is, you know, and you know, to be fair, you can admit that you can be an honest whore. Honest hoe.
Totally.
But what I am saying is that I think Sherrod had just lost his job from the airport.
So let's get this. You already knew of who he was, right?
Sherrod?
Yes. When you met him.
Well, I knew him from Twitter, yeah.
Right, and you knew of him,
yeah,
right?
I knew of him.
So you already knew that he was very free sexually. You already knew that he was who he is. And then you already knew that he was already on one season of GStatus, correct?
But you have to keep in mind, this was a year before we even signed the contract.
Exactly.
I never knew Dawon was going to be on GStatus.
Right.
So I ended up messing around with Sherrod. Sherrod just...
How did that happen, though?
I got in his DM.
Okay, so you approached him.
Yeah.
Okay, come through. That's what kings do.
Yeah.
We just admit the like. Please beat that out.
I approached him. Long story short, he was going through a lot because he was going through a lot. You know, whatever. Nonetheless, he was going through a lot. He asked me for $40 for a Metro phone bill.
Okay.
Now me, I'm a man. I take care of my home. I take care of my wife. I take care of my child. You know, I got.
And you take care of your homes.
No, I mean I got a good paying job. So
go back.
I just think about nothing. You know, if I come to somebody, especially if you know that I'm in a relationship, or if I'm not trying to be in a relationship with you, and if I come to you on a sexual level, that's just how I think.
Right.
Correct me if I'm wrong. If I'm to some people it may be disrespectful. You know, what's up, what's good.
Right.
But I only approach Sherrod how I seen Sherrod. So Sherrod to ask me for $40 for a phone bill, to me that's nothing.
Right.
I don't take care of no hoes. But what I am saying is, if you feel like, in order for me to get some ass, I need my phone bill paid. That's nothing for me.
Let me say this.
Nothing.
Can I be honest? I 100% agree with you.
Yeah.
I don't think it's a big deal. I'm just trying to make sure I say it from both sides. And let me also say this. I do love Sherrod as well. I'm cool with him. We have no beef at all. I can already see how this scenario happened, but can you acknowledge that you started this situation?
With Sherrod?
Yes.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Right.
It was a drunk night. I DM'd the dude. I knew about him. I knew he was, very sexually
sexually free. Mm-hmm.
Very, very.
Right.
So when you're like, well, I need $40 for a phone bill.
Down.
I'm good on that. It's $40. It's okay.
Right.
It was okay. Do it, make it right? No.
Right.
I'm not saying I was right because at the end of the day, I was still in my relationship. Mm-hmm. That was 2 years ago. A year later, Dawon's on G Status.
Right, and they start filming.
They start filming.
Now, before we jump up to that year later, because I need people to understand this, did you tell Dawon what happened between you and Sherrod before he signed the contract to be on G Status?
No.
Okay, so you never shared it.
And I only didn't share it. I only didn't share it with Dawon because by me in my head feeling that Sherrod was so free,
sexually, you thought it wouldn't be coming.
I didn't think, out of all people, if you having sex all day, every day, your storyline's not going to be, I let Dawon fuck.
That's an unfair.
That's how I was thinking. Like I said, if I'm wrong, I'm wrong, yeah. and I know me even having sex with Sherrod was wrong. I'm not saying that, but I didn't believe that this man really was going to make this his story.
Right. So okay,
I just did not.
So you were thinking like, yo, you're already sexually free. Yeah. You're busting it open. It is what it is. The last thing you're gonna do is talk about us having sex for $40.
That's the last thing I genuinely thought. Because right after that, he blocked me because he wanted something to eat. Dawon took him home in the car. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, if you really was feeling some type of way, before it even got this, you could have told Dawon, look, I did have sex with Dawon or whatever.
Right.
But ironically, it happened on the show because.
But that's still your fault, though. You do realize that.
I never said it wasn't.
Because you should have told your man before you let a hoe tell your man.
Absolutely.
Right?
Absolutely.
All right. And I learned that lesson too, so don't.
No, and I was in the doghouse. Mm-hmm. I was in the doghouse. I dealt with that. But, like I said, it was. At this point, I was so wiped out in my relationship. I was so drained. Right. I was so emotionally hurt. Right. I did what I did. But when I did tell Dawon that, we got past that. We got to tell.
Who told him first? You or Sherrod? Or who? How did he find out first?
I think her name was Lady Monet.
Mm-hmm.
She loves.
Right.
She loves it. She loves the drama.
Right.
But Lady Monet.
Hi, Lady Monet.
Yeah, hey. Lady Monet ended up telling Dawon or whatever, and I kept it real with Dawon.
And so you told him then, you admitted.
Yeah, I did it. I said, yeah, I did. I fucked for $40 after that. I did. I said, right. I fucked for $40. After that, he blocked me on, he blocked me because he wanted something to eat, and I didn't cash out him something to eat. So I was like, cool. But, it got out. And like I said, my problem is not with what happened. My problem is not with Sherrod because I was wrong. I was with Dawon. Sherrod's a single man.
Exactly.
He can do what he want to do. Now, did I really think that he was going to make this his storyline?
No. Did you think it was going to get as big as it got?
No, I really did not. But, like I said, shout out to G Status for showing Dawon actual talent. Right. But unfortunately, G Status took a long time to come out too.
That's true. That's true.
We done been filmed for almost a year now. Right. A year. So after the Sherrod situation, I was in the doghouse. Right. Me and Dawon got into a bad car accident.
But y'all made it past.
We made it past that. That's what I'm going.
Did he say, "I forgive you"?
Yeah. Yeah, he said he forgave me when they even went on. I don't want to put too much out about the show.
About the show, because we want people to watch the show.
I don't want to do that, but long story short, we dealt with that. Right. We dealt with that. We genuinely dealt with that because he understood.
And y'all were back in a good place.
Absolutely.
Was y'all back smashing again?
Absolutely.
Okay, well,
I was on doghouse. He was hurt, and by all means, be hurt. Right. And I understand that. But we got past that. G-Status have been done a film. Right.
And it starts to air.
The
previews come out. Yeah. Right. And then what happened?
It reopened up.
That wound.
And
exactly.
For me personally, it was hard for me to deal with that because when I think about reality, I think about where I'm at today.
Right. Not where you were back then.
Yeah.
Right.
Like when I had sex with Sherrod 2 years ago.
Yes!
When I had sex with Sherrod 2 years ago, it came out a year ago.
Okay, so let's do this now so we can do a timeline. Yeah. Y'all had sex, you and Sherrod had sex 2 years ago.
Almost two years ago.
They got done rapping about a year ago, and now the show is just now coming out, which is now opening up old wounds, right?
And I'm only upset because it's opened up. Like I said, my problem's not with Sherrod. Right. Get the views. Right. But it's the fact that it's back in my home. It's back in my home.
How do you feel like Dawon seeing this again has affected him emotionally?
I don't think it. I think it only affected him emotionally because despite him having so much talent, like I said, he wants fame.
Right.
So I see, he wakes up, check the comments, read the comments. He's on Instagram all day. Make sure y'all like, subscribe to our YouTube channel. So this is what he really, really, really wants.
Right.
But unfortunately, it's making him look like he's stupid for being with me. So I know he's embarrassed. I know he's humiliated. And I know that, with the shit that happened on Chase in Atlanta.
Right.
Which none of that was true.
Right.
But with the stuff that happened on GStatus, I dealt with that.
Right.
With him being in the public eye, his fans, Dawon's a fan favorite. They love him.
They do love him.
They love him, and I'm not going to deny that. So it's hard for him to be a fan favorite out here looking like a Rashida. Right. Just like Rashida and Kurt, they built an empire.
And they came back from it.
And they came back from that.
And Tiny. Yeah. And, all of them.
Dawon and Dawon built a empire. What we had was amazing.
What y'all still have.
What we have is amazing. And when we got into our car accident, we almost lost our life, bro. We got hit by an 18-wheeler. Right. I seen my man in the bed. I seen him in pain. They didn't get none of that. God blessed us a week later to get us a car, a month later to get us 2 cars. Right. Then we moved to Cobb County in a nice bedroom. So it was like everything. I had my first niece this year.
Let me say this because I know how messy people can be. A nice apartment.
Oh yeah, a nice apartment. Okay. Excuse me. Yeah, but no, it's on the show. They definitely got us moving in.
Oh, good. Okay, good.
Definitely, it's nice. Nice, but after all the charade shit is what I'm saying is so much good things have happened for us. Right. So I guess it's just hard for me to open up that wound again when I know that that's not where we at.
Right.
I'm okay with reliving that. I'm okay with admitting that I was wrong. I'm okay with admitting that despite his drinking, I had no reason stepping up. But what I am saying, I dealt with everything that he threw to me. Right. I never went on Instagram.
So you feel like you paid the price for this already?
I did that. Right. I did that. And, my first niece, his first niece, I never introduced a man to my mom. He met my mom. I met his mom. His mom called me. My mom called him. We got into a car accident. Right. I went to jail because of him. Right. And all I ever keep doing is writing for him.
So what is it that you want to see happen with you and Dawon now? You and Dawon now.
Well, I'm going to use this time to definitely get myself together.
Okay. Are y'all currently living together?
No.
Okay.
No.
All right.
Yes.
Yes.
Definitely.
What he said was, we are still smashing.
Absolutely.
So much I want to say, but I will not. But go ahead.
And when I say smashing,
and in a good way.
No, it happened randomly. Thank you so much because I needed it. It happened randomly. It did happen randomly. But what I am saying is, in life, bro, you get one soulmate. I love him. I know that. I know in my heart, I don't feel like it's over. I want him to. I want him to enjoy his, what he got going on now. Right. Unfortunately, Dawon really just want to be successful in any kind of way, and I love him enough to see him do that. Right. And if you love someone, if you let it go,
if they're yours, they will come back.
He will come back. So in my heart, I know we'll be back. In my mind, I know that we'll be back. Right. But in order for us to really get back to where we once was, I'm sitting here today admitting my wrong. Right. I'm sitting here today.
So proud of you.
Thank you. I'm sitting here today admitting my wrong and admitting that, I just want him to understand that, I did everything I could for us. Right. And people don't know us by just seeing us once a week for 30 minutes. Right. And I don't think he understands that. Right. There's no reason we shouldn't be together today. Right. If I sit here and tell you exactly what's going on, there is no reason why he shouldn't be with me today. And we're only not together is because of something that happened 2 years ago.
Have you all considered going to therapy together?
That's what we want to do. Right. He kind of told me that he said that, but he really didn't want to. Mm-hmm. So that just means, tell me right now, he just having fun. Right.
Well, I will tell you this. So I told you before we did our interview that I was going to talk to him and make sure that he was cool with me doing this because I love both of you guys. Yeah. He did tell me that you all are working on this and that, that you all are considering going to therapy, which he may kill me for saying this, but I'm very proud of that. I think if you love somebody for real, you really should work that shit out to the best of your ability. Now there's some things that people do, my exes have done, I cannot come back from. But if you can make it work, you should be able to make it work.
Absolutely. Yeah. Absolutely. I want him to just, whenever he's ready.
Okay.
Whenever he's
And you're going to wait on him?
Yeah, I'll wait.
Okay.
I'll wait. I'll definitely wait because I know that I love him. I'm definitely not in a rush to be anybody else's.
Right. Are you still dealing with the hoes?
No.
So you're not dealing with no hoes at all?
No, I'm using this, and I wouldn't call them hoes because they're single. They do what they want to do. But
people who are sexually free, are you dealing with any of those?
No,
any of us who are like that?
No, I can't. I didn't know y'all kiss and tell. I won't dare do that.
Down. But see, let me show you. So listen, let me show you how you stop it. This is what I do, and everybody knows like where I'm at in life right now. I tell them up front, yo, this is what it is. This is all it is, and this is how it is. Now, if you have a significant other, you don't do anything that they don't know. Yeah. Because the worst thing in the world is not for you to tell them that they cheated, it's for someone else to tell them that they cheated.
I think you're absolutely right. But like I stated, is that my life been in the public eye for the last 3 years. Prior to that, with me being 30, this is all new for me.
Right.
All new for me. And one thing that I know that I did was protect his name. Right. And, I probably didn't really protect the image because your man out here making you look like a fool. But I protected his name because if y'all really knew what we went through in our home, you would say, damn, come on now, come on. But I know that, we dealt with it. Mm-hmm. We dealt with it. And I know, like I said, that was 2 years ago. Right. Show been wrapped up a year ago. It's just really hard for me to deal with it now. Because I get up every day and make a living for myself. Right. I work Monday through Friday. I'm out Saturday and Sunday. I never run into the boys offline. Right. So that's not my reality. Right. And that's not his reality. Right.
And you just want to get back to your home.
Yeah.
Back to your relationship.
I'm a single father now. My daughter is like miserable. She want her mom. Like I come home. I lost weight because I wanted to feel good about myself.
You're working on yourself.
But I also miss my home cooked meals too. So I definitely want my home back.
So listen, Dawon, wherever you are when you see this Negro wants you back. He wants his home back. He wants his family back.
I want it. I want it back when it's right, and I want it back when it's the time. Right. I want Dawon to really go out there and figure out if I am for him. Right. Just because he's my soulmate does not mean that I'm his soulmate. Right. And I can accept that because like I said, I'm not a victim. I numerous of times. Right. But for every what's that saying? For every consequence, there's a reaction. I reacted, and in my way of reacting, coming from I seen, my mom had guys in and out. Not saying, it was that was okay. That was okay, but I'm just going by what I'm used to. Right. I never caught the godfather. I never caught the guy's stepfather, and I never really had a relationship with my mom. So me out here doing what I want to do, I have always been doing that since forever. Wow. Yeah.
Well, let me say this. I applaud you for being honest. I applaud you for being transparent. And I have respect for you because of the fact that you're willing to address this. One of the things that I didn't do when I went through a very similar situation was I didn't get in front of the train. And people are very quick to judge what they don't understand. Yeah. And when you are dealing with people who are in the public eye, their image does mean a lot to them. And it's not that that's a bad thing, but you can never over-allow your public image to be bigger than your reality.
And that's what happened. Yeah. I just feel like he knows our reality.
Right.
He knows.
Right. Well, I definitely believe that you all will be back together. And I'm so grateful that we had an opportunity to have this conversation. I think that so many times when we just sit down and talk, there's so many things that you can learn and different ways that you're able to grow. Whether you have messed up in situations like Dawon and I have, or whether you're just dealing with whatever personal struggles and issues you have, there's always a way to sit down, have conversation, and work things out. Things may not always work out the way you want them to, but they will work out. So, bro, thank you so much for coming. Man, this has been great, and we will definitely have Dawon. Absolutely. And then we'll have y'all back together. Yes, y'all will be back together, and I will be at the wedding chilling and smiling. All right.
Thank you.
All right, we have a great history, man, and I'm grateful that we can be friends and that we can have this connection. And anytime you need me, I'm here. I'm going to always tell you the truth.
Yeah.
If you call me, I'm going to tell you the truth. But I definitely respect what you two have, and I'm looking forward. All right. So listen, everybody, make sure that you follow us both on social media. Make sure that you like, share, and comment. And listen, I want everybody that can to tag Dawon in this video so that he will know how his man feels about him. I'm sure he's probably nervous, wondering what you're actually going to say, but you did a great job. You were honest, but yet you also showed your heart. All right, everybody, we appreciate it. Look forward to meeting with you all again soon. Good night, everybody. Bye.